Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Do we see the confetti fall? Be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Do we see the confetti fall? Be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute it shows it. A path only fit for kings, and you all know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch.
Welcome to week 10 of overtime. So I always try to define each week by its stakes and the importance that's going into we're going to go into a little bit of a different direction this time around with a few less basin battles, but more focus on pivotal games in district play. This doesn't change for things for the fans in our District 2-6A teams. We'll have you covered from the Crosstown Showdown to the Panthers in San Angelo. For our other schools, you'll see scoreboards of all your favorites, but we'll be dialing into just some of the more important games that can shake things up. And we're going to start over in Midland for our classic showdown of our crosstown rivals between Midland High and Legacy. These two teams share obviously some things in common, like the same town, district, and stadium, and this year's class will solidify or pummel some of these teams' playoff hopes in the league standings. So this is our game of the week, which means we have one of our fearless reporters out at Town Broadband Stadium. Jason Freund is there to break down what happened. Jason, what happened?
Well, our Week 10 game of the week between Midland Legacy and Midland High certainly did not disappoint. However, it was a little slow out of the gates as defense dominated this match in the first half. Only 2 touchdowns were scored in the first half, with Midland High getting a field goal as time expired in the second quarter, while Midland Legacy got 2 touchdowns on the running game thanks to Zeke Luna. Let's take a look at those first half highlights right now. Crosstown rivalry match between Midland Legacy and Midland High. Legacy wants to stay in contention for first place, while Midland High looking to just stay alive in the playoff chase. Points would be hard to come by, but Zeke Luna gets a quick 6-yard touchdown to give Legacy an early 6-0 lead. More impressive running by Luna, shaking off some defenders and jukes his way to a first down. Legacy would be forced to punt on this drive, however. Midland High defense holding steady, but Luna is the wrecking ball who breaks through the defense and turns on the Jets for a 25-yard trip to the end zone, throwing up 2 fingers after his second touchdown of the half. Legacy led this one 13-3 at the end of the first half.
All right, after the game with Zeke Luna, had yourself a fantastic game. Points were a little hard to come by in the first half. Tell me, what made that Midland High defense so good in the first half?
We just weren't working as a team right there. I mean, it always takes us a little bit to click, but once we do, I mean, we keep going and we go and we go and we make sure that we play our 100%.
Well, the second half of this game really got out of hand for Midland High as Legacy began scoring points left and right. Zeke Luna finishing with 3 touchdowns and this game ending 48-3 in favor of Midland Legacy, who are now 3-1 in division play and as of right now have really good chances of getting into the division playoffs and defending their championship. Midland High, however, now sits at 1-3, just looking to stay alive in playoff contention. Jenna, back to you.
Hey, thanks, Jason. We had a feeling that one would be a big one in either direction. This time it was Legacies who had history on their side. Well, we have some more games with district implications over at Ratliff, with OHS looking to play spoiler to a friendship group that was one of 4 teams that were knotted up at the top of the league at the start of tonight. Tyler broke down earlier this evening in our 6 p.m. show what this game could mean, and let's see if those predictions came true. We didn't hear from him in game time, but in overtime we got you covered with everything. Tyler, how'd it go?
Yeah, Jenna, it was a chilly senior night here at Ratliff Stadium, but the offenses were not slowed by the weather in the slightest. Let's go ahead and take a look at those first half highlights. It was senior night for the Odessa High Broncos at Ratliff Stadium as they welcomed a district foe to town, the Friendship Tigers at 6-2, and senior quarterback Jalen Jones leading his Broncos out of the tunnel for the last time at home. We'll start in the first quarter as Jones puts Ivan Carry-On in motion, and he gives it to the wide receiver out of the backfield, and Carry-On's going to beat everyone in the corner of the end zone, the pylon, for the rushing touchdown from 3 yards out, 7-0 OHS. early on. Now after a Jones interception, the high-flying Friendship offense out and running as Hudson Hutchinson lobs one up and a one-handed snag by Tate Beals, and he's going to show off his speed. 95 yards for the touchdown as he throws up the peace sign 13-7 Friendship. However, OHS would have an answer as Jalen Jones uses his big body to plow into the end zone on a quarterback sneak. A 1-yard rushing touchdown to put the Broncos back in front, 14-13. But later on in the first half, they would trail by 13. And on 4th and 6, in need of a touchdown, Jones delivers, flicks it out. Jalen Warren with a leaping catch, diving for the end zone, 13 yards for the touchdown. And they would score 2 more times to lead 35-27 at the half. Are here with Odessa High head coach Dusty Ortiz. And coach, a close game tonight. You guys hung in there, came up short. But what can you speak on the effort for your team?
You know, I was proud of the kids. You know, we challenged them before the game, and we talked about playing for the seniors. It was senior night, and, you know, they didn't disappoint. They gave us everything they had.
A valiant effort tonight indeed for Odessa High on senior night, but they fall short to Friendship 49-42. Second half struggles for the Broncos. They only scored 7 points in the second half tonight. And overall, it was just too much Friendship. Their offense was very efficient early on, and when they had to make plays, they made them. Had to go ahead touchdown late to seal the win 49-42. And also in that interview with Dusty Ortiz that I had with him, he had mentioned how much the senior class meant to this program, what they're trying to build here at Odessa High. Jenna, just unfortunate for them tonight. They came up short here at Ratliff Stadium.
Well, thanks, Tyler. A bummer over there at Ratliff. Well, Mojo fans, you guys are on the road, but don't worry, we still have some district action with San Angelo Central. Of course, as always, we got you covered with everything that you need. This one was a high-scoring affair, especially on the ground attack. The Bobcats were pinned back deep on this drive, but it didn't matter because Jacob English, who finds a hole and cannot be stopped with no one in his path to go up 7-0 early in the first. The Panthers answered on special teams with a great return by Jaden Pruitt inside the 10 before getting dragged down by defenders, setting up the offense in favorable field position. As you see, no one was really in front of him, but he got tackled by those shoestrings. All right, and then the attack took advantage from the inside at the 5. Justice Laura with the carry and punches it in, but the PAT is blocked, so the score will be 7-6. Then it's Deja Vu Laura again to go up 14-7 after the 2-point conversion. The Bobcats wouldn't go away, though. Its quarterback keeper Tyler Hill gashes the defense for 6, and no one is catching that man trotting down the center of the field. All right, from 6A to 6-man action, we're sticking in Midland to take a trip over to Midland Trinity for their homecoming game. And here's something you don't hear a lot in these types of games. It was a defensive battle early. The Chargers would strike first with a safety to go up 2-0 early, but it was their offense that would end up sputtering early. Trinity with possession, looking to capitalize on their defensive stop. It's Oliver Lauer who dropping back to pass, and it's picked off smoothly by Darian Springer, giving the Harvest nice field position. And the Saints offense puts an exclamation point on the drive. QB Mason Ross using his legs to find receiver Benjamin Horner for the bobbling TD catch. It was 8-2 Harvest at that point. The Chargers would then strike back for the lead in the end of the first with one single play. This handoff to Jude Varner, who makes the cut up the field for a long touchdown to go up 10-8 at half. The final would be Trinity winning this one 48-24. Well, we had you covered on a lot of things on the field, and there's still some more action to come. Coming up, we have Greenwood versus Graham, and over in Fort Stockton, it's the Panthers against the PECOS Eagles, and we got you covered with all that after the break.
You don't have days like this. You don't have days like this. Only a face like this. You don't ever play like this.
Permian Panthers, and you're watching games on my news or something. Let's go.
You would never know when the thing might switch. Don't watch the ball. Honestly, that's how you fall. What you say? We finna lose. Listen, dude, man, not to y'all. Who tryna brawl? You kinda small. On the court, yo, I'm a dog. Beating y'all by 50 now. It's no problem to pile it on. How can I lose when I be crossing them out of their shoes? When I'm in the lane, yo, me and the Pirates the same. Cause you know I'm dropping them jewels. Popping the cruise when I was in school. Probably wasn't a popular dude, but ever since I got the offer to go with my I'm proud to say I got the juice. Battery charge. Swan so wrapped up. We're not kidding, man. Anybody wanna get it, tell them we next up. Gold medal on lock. Until then, yeah, I'ma settle on top. Still don't believe me? Just turn on your TV and tell them to watch. They play me cause my game's crazy, but I came ready with the juice. My game too cold, your game too slow. You hype trains, don't know what to do. New levels, new devils. That means it's time to grind. So what you saying? Hand to the plow. New heights to climb. If this my moment, my time to shine. This little light of mine, I'ma go so hard that I might be blind. We've been working in the off season, getting started when y'all leaving. Yo, this finna be a harsh beating. You in for a long evening. Most of y'all could get caught cheating on the real, still wouldn't call it even. If we seen them in the streets, they don't really want beef like all vegans. Lord Jesus, you don't know what you up against. Bruh, when? Man, this finna be a breeze like a gust of wind. Trash talk, I'm under skin. Pass y'all, then rub it in. Y'all better hurry. This Stephen Curry versus Shep and Birdie in above the rim. Ragdoll, y'all bad dog. Can't help, I let her win. Highlight real be something like blue. Gold medal on lock. I'ma settle on top. If they still don't believe me, then turn on your TV and tell them all watch. Tell them all watch. Tell them all watch. Tell them all watch. Get about my way. Get about my way. It's here on lock. It's here on lock. We run with the winners, and if you a winner, then you with the squad. Yeah. We coming to get it. We coming to get it. You ready or not? Tell them all watch. Tell them all watch. Tell them all watch. Tell them all watch. Get about my way. Get about my way. It's here on lock. It's here on lock. We run with the winners, and if you a winner, then you with the squad. Yeah. We coming to get it. We coming to get it. You ready or not? Get about my way. Get about my way. It's here on lock. It's here on lock. We run with the winners, and if you a winner, then you with the squad. Yeah. We coming to get it. We coming to get it. You ready or not? Let's go. You don't have days like this. Nah. You don't have days like this. Only a face like this. Yeah. You don't ever play like this. Tell them please, man. Hella freeze on the day I miss. My handle game certified. You would never know when the thing might switch. Don't watch the ball. Honestly, that's how you fall. What you say? We finna lose. Listen, dude, man, not to y'all. Who tryna brawl? You kinda small. On the court, yo, I'm a dog. Beating y'all by 50 now. It's no problem to pile it on. How can I lose?
Welcome back to overtime. And look who it is. Look who decided to join us. Not in the 2 box this time. He's right here. It's Aaron Galvin. He's going to be our tour guide through the rest of tonight's difference-making district play. Aaron, take it away.
Jenna, thank you very much. We had so many big-time games tonight. All over, all the different classes, 4A, 3A, 2A, Class A 6-man football. We had all kinds of great ones, important games. Let's begin, though, with the Greenwood Rangers. Before we get to those highlights, though, let's give a little love to the mascots, especially on this chilly evening. They are a big part of the game day experience as well. And Marcus Risen, a member of our digital team here at News West 9, took a deep dive into the world of the people that dress up in a costume every single week, not just on Halloween. Enjoy.
Monday's Halloween. The day where you can dress up as anything you want. A clown, an alien, maybe even a ranger. If you're lucky, you get to dress up like your favorite character every day, like Rowdy and Roxy, the mascots of the Greenwood Rangers.
Well, the mascots add all kinds of antics. They have fun. The kids love them. They've learned so much throughout the last year on how to make themselves smaller to kids, and they just laugh, they play, they get the crowd going whenever they're acting crazy, and they help the girls out too. They make them laugh whenever we're having a rough time, so they add a lot. They bring a lot to the table.
With their cowboy boots and cowboy hats, Rowdy and Roxy get to have all the fun they want during football games, from hanging out with the cheerleaders to entertaining the crowd. One of the best parts of the gig is the anonymity. Anyone at the school who's not in the crowd or on the football field could be under those masks. Rowdy is a senior ranger, and they will be missed.
Our senior is a lot of fun. She brings a lot. She's very animated, and she loves it. She made All-American to finish out her senior year, so we're super proud of her, and I'm going to wish her the very best.
To be a mascot, you have to be talented. These two were chosen from a pool of students, and only the best get to don the bandanas and the cowboy boots.
To be a mascot, theatrical, not scared, ask for forgiveness later. Sometimes they'll do things they're probably not supposed to, but it makes people laugh, and that's what their job is.
So if you think you have what it takes to be one of the masked rangers, you might have to try out in the future. It could be fun being the mysteries of school. Just ask Rowdy and Roxy, although you might not get a response.
Well, very well done there. Thank you so much, Marcus. And now let's check in on those highlights, beginning in Greenwood with a Rangers team that had been 5-3 so far this season, hosting their final regular season game of 2022. Greenwood had won their last 3 games, and they had scored 30-plus in all 3 wins. Senior Jimmy Vasquez leading a defense that had given up less than 14 points in each of those 3 games. And their opponent, the Graham Steers, well, they were playing their final game of the regular season, coming in with a 5-4 record, and they dominated time of possession early, and they moved the ball down the field in very methodical fashion. That ended with this jump ball to the front pylon that the receiver is able to come down with and stretch that ball over the goal line to give Graham the lead. Just a basketball play right there. 2 plays later, the Steers get an interception on a deep throw intended for Rance Purser. That puts them back in business on the plus side of the field in Rangers territory. But a big play to prevent a score here by Shane Kelly of Greenwood to pick off this pass in the end zone and keep the score at 7-0 after one corner. Very big play there. This one was a defensive struggle throughout, but Graham won it in the end, 21-14. And it's time to go over to the Andrews Mustangs now. We've got a big matchup in district tonight. Andrews hosting the Brownwood Lions. Andrews 5-3 coming in Tom Harvey's first season at the helm, and quarterback Ashton Galvan was leading a very proficient offense. Brownwood was undefeated in district play, so if Andrews wanted a shot at the district title, a win tonight would go a long way. And you're going to see the Mustangs wearing some sweet alternate uniforms at home tonight. But that was just about the only thing sweet about this game for them. The Lions just could not be stopped on offense, and they put up points in a multitude of ways tonight. Through the air here early on a go ball to the end zone, or maybe you want it on the ground as the Brownwood offensive line shows you the power up front for another score to increase their lead. Just no answers for Andrews on defense tonight against a very good Brownwood team. And one more score here again in that back corner of the end zone. Brownwood cruises in this one, winning 47-3. And now let's move out to Fort Stockton, where the 7-1 Panthers hosted the 4-4 Pecos Eagles. The Eagles had won 2 straight after a losing streak, but now they run into the wall that is that Panther defense. Get this. The Panthers hadn't allowed 100 total points this year, and coming into tonight, they sat at 97. They were 3-1 in district, and let's see if they could defend the home field tonight. It was a district game down south in Fort Stockton, and the Panthers would get out to an early lead as it's number 5, Corbin Luna on the carry, a big lead block, and he rumbles in to put 6 on the board. And remember that defense I told you about? Well, now it's going to be their turn to eat. A throw downfield and the receiver bobbles it. Isaiah Velasquez taking advantage of that mistake to put the Panthers in some solid field position. Fort Stockton back on offense, and they wouldn't skip a beat. QB Marco Garcia flips it out to Pedro Gonzalez, who outruns several Eagles to get into the end zone and score another touchdown. And the Panther offense wanted one more score to drive things home in the first half. Garcia fakes the handoff and keeps it himself, fighting hard on the ground to get to the pylon. And after some discussion, they would call this one a touchdown. Pecos, they fought hard to get closer in the second half, but the Panthers held off the Eagles, winning by a score of 32-21. And now let's take things back over to Jenna. She's got an update on the Big Spring Steers. They actually played last night up north in Estacado.
Yeah, that's right, Aaron. The marquee matchup for Thursday night football in West Texas was a matchup, as you just said, Big Spring and Estacado. Both had split records at 1-1 in league play coming into this one. As we rewind just a little bit and take a look back at this contest, both defenses came out strong early on. Big Spring 3rd and goal. Big stop by the Estacado defense to force the Steers to settle for 3. Little later, it's sophomore Bobby Ross who runs into the end zone for the Matadors for the 7-3 lead early in this one. Estacado's was hot offensively and looking for another, but it's the Steers defense that steps up, this time with a fumble recovery just short of the goal line. Big Spring with the stomp and the ball going the other way. This one came down to the wire. It's a field goal with 20 seconds remaining. That would ice it for the home team. Estacado would go on to win 24-21. Well, we've seen a ton of highlights. Now it's time to decide what teams and players stood out among the rest. That's right, it's time for top plays. You're going to want to make sure that you vote on my Twitter page tomorrow starting at 8:30 a.m. for your favorite. If you don't like what you see, as always, nominations for this honor can be sent in, but let's hop into what we have for this week. First, back on the grass fields of six-man football, and sophomore Jude Varner turns on the burners during a routine sweep into a massive gain on the first drive of the first one of this drive for the Chargers lead early in the first frame. On the defensive end, it's Fort Stockton tip drill, perfectly executed by Isaiah Velasquez, who snatches the ball off the deflection to put the offense in great field position. Over at OHS, it's Jalen Jones to Jalen Warren. That's right, it's a Jalen to Jalen connection. A nice catch and stretch for the Bronco TD. And finally, it's a big win for Mojo tonight in a big kick return for number 4, Jaden Pruitt, to put Mojo in scoring position, and great blocking downfield helps set up that great field position for the attack. All right, that's all we have for our top plays. That's all we have for overtime tonight. As always, extended coverage, we're going to have it for you coming up this week. We'll have sound from players and coaches, and we're going to look back in these games and preview the next ones starting on Monday. So you're going to want to stay tuned. That's all we have for this edition of Overtime. See you guys next week.
If this my moment, my time to shine. This little light of mine, I'ma go so hard that I might be blind.